Welcome back to Bradley's Garage. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing this smoke machine. Our friends over at Ancel sent us this S200 unit, so we're going to go through, give it an honest review, tell you our pros, our cons, and provide a couple demos. Alright, so let's jump inside the box and see what we get. Alright, so we pop it open here. Alright, so first step we got user manual. The machine on this side, wow, it's really small, guys. Like, super compact. Check that guy out. So tiny. So this would be great. Super portable. You could take this, throw this in a bag, and or even leave it in the box and carry it around with you, no problem. Funnel for putting the juice in. We got the power cord. We got some hard plugs. Those are cool. We got, a little pumper, self-sealer, sealing up those holes that are oblong shape. Oh, I think it's an extra boot. The little evap tools. We got our hose with the tip. And we got the hanger. That'll come in handy to hang it from your hood while you're working on stuff. All right, that's everything in the box. All right, so out of the box, the only thing that we're really missing is a set of block caps. If you follow the link in the description below, Ancel will throw these in to the package if you purchase it. The other thing that we're missing is the mineral oil / baby oil. So you will need to buy this. We chose to buy mineral oil. It's about $5 versus baby oil is $6, so it's a little bit cheaper for the mineral oil. So step one is to fill the machine. So we got our little funnel here. There is a sight glass on the back side, but the liquid's clear, so it is tough. So we're just going to put in, I just fill up the funnel completely full and let that go, drain in. Because it doesn't look like the tank's very big, it doesn't hold very much, so we don't want to overfill it. All right, so we got ourselves a battery here, just a standalone. We want to go ahead and fire up the machine and see how it works. So we just take off our little ties here. And this looks like this is nice. This has got to be 8 foot long, so you have a really nice long cord. That's helpful. And then this just threads on to the front of the machine here. And then we have our battery clamp. Okay, and then that you just pop this little rubber thing off and put that in, and then we can hook up our battery. So now that we got 12 volts, this operates on 12 volts. It has a built-in compressor, so you don't need to have an air compressor. This is a self-contained unit, and you have two modes here. You have a fan mode, which just blows air, and then you have the smoke mode, which will blow the air and the smoke. So let's just do a quick sound test, see how loud this compressor is on the fan side. Okay, it's got a little humming sound. Not bad. I'm not sure what that sounds like on the mic for you guys, but it's pretty quiet, actually. All right, so let's go ahead and fire it up. They claim it can start producing smoke within 10 seconds, so let's put it to the test. Okay, we're getting a little bit of smoke. Let's see, how thick does it get? It's pretty good. Okay. All right, so we see a gauge on the screen here. Let's see how much pressure it puts out. I'm just going to put my finger over it, and we are going up to, what is that, about 10? That's pretty high. Okay. Yeah, that's some pressure right there. All right. All right, let's do another quick test. I want to see how dense this smoke is. So this will give you guys a visual of what it's going to be like inside your intake, inside that crankcase. So we're going to grab one of the provided plugs, We're gonna throw that into our jug here, and then this nozzle is gonna fit snugly into there, all right? So before we fire it up, what I like to do is just make sure we got good smoke coming out, and it looks like we got good smoke coming out. All right, so we got a steady stream, and now we're ready. Let's insert it in and see how dense this is. And theoretically, after we fill up this cavity with air, then the gauge should start to go up and increase in pressure. So it gives you kind of a visual of what's going on inside your crankcase, inside your intake. So theoretically, we should start building pressure. I don't see the gauge moving. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously when I held my thumb over it, it was instantaneous. Here we're filling up a big cavity, but it's got good smoke volume, very dense, but we've been at it for a little while now, and let's just do a quick check here, see what kind of pressure we got. Oh, okay, wow, that definitely should have been registering something on the gauge. All right, so we kind of went over the basic functions and features of the unit, so let's take it outside and do a real-world test on one of our beamers. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick test on our little E46. We're getting a little lean code check engine light on this guy. So it's a good test for this unit. So it kind of works out great that we just got this and we got a little issue with our E46. So got a little hook here, let's hook it up. You know, your nice 8-foot cord we talked about, just threads on. And then your 12-volt connector simply just plugs in here. And then of course on the beamer, if you guys are familiar with the beamers, the battery is in the trunk most of the time. Same thing Mercedes, sometimes it's under the back seat. So, but we do have a connection point here, so we can hook the positive and this negative there on the shock tower. All right. Now, prior to the start of the video, we went ahead and removed the air box. We have a little block cap here, and BMW has a nice port here, so we're going to use that as the port for our smoke tip. All we got to do is just go ahead and turn it to notch number 2. That's going to give us the fan and the smoke, and then we're just going to wait. They say 10 seconds, but like we showed in the previous test, it takes a little bit longer than that. I like to give it about 20 or 30 seconds. That way you got a good flow of smoke coming out, nice and thick, and then we'll go ahead and once we get that smoke going, flowing real nice, then we'll go ahead and stick it into that intake boot here. That's some good smoke, looking nice. And I did plug this off as well, guys, so otherwise it comes right back out real quick. So we're gonna be looking, we don't know if we have an intake boot problem. Wanna make sure that's sealed. Obviously it's coming out of there, that's not that tight, that's fine. I don't see anything else here on the intake side. Intake boot is a common failure, but we've replaced that not too far back. Let's see. Otherwise, we have intake area. We just make sure we have a good flow. Make sure we got the smoke. Okay, so we haven't filled up the whole cavity yet. You'll know when you get smoke coming out of the valve cover that it's full. All right, so we got good pressure now, we got good smoke, so now we know the whole entire crankcase is filled. So we'll lock that back up, and we're gonna look around here. Oh, I see it, guys. I know it's gonna be tough to see on the camera, but you see we got smoke coming from underneath the cover here. So let's pop that off. Guys, I know it's hard to see. It's difficult to record smoke with the camera, but as you can see, we popped off the valve cover, little decorative cover, and we're here, and we're seeing smoke coming from right here. You see it, and if I actually can feel with my fingernail a little crack, like a hairline fracture. So that is where our vacuum leak is. These E46, the M54, M52s are super sensitive about vacuum leaks, and you'll get a rough idle and things just won't run right. So hey, this is a good test for this machine to show exactly where it is. I mean, we probably would have found it by inspecting the valve cover completely, but sometimes, what if it was way back here? Fortunately, it was in a place where we could still see, But yeah, pretty good. It actually located the leak for us. So I just want to show you guys, remember I told you about how this machine's putting out 10 PSI. It's a little aggressive for, definitely for evap stuff. Even when we had this in and it was tight, it was difficult to see exactly where it was coming from because it's so much pressure, it's blowing the smoke out the crack. So I just backed it off a little bit, and that way it doesn't build up that pressure. And then, you can more easily see where the smoke is coming from. All right, so as you guys can see, it's a pretty efficient unit. Does put out some pressure, so we were able to find that valve cover leak very, very quickly. So that's the good news. On the bad side, it does seem like it does have a little bit too much pressure, especially for evap system. They claim that it's safe. They even provide the tool for the evap, but evap systems, based on our knowledge, is less than 1 PSI. So I would say use caution on the evap. Definitely don't stick this into the port 100% and just leave it in there and start building up pressure because you will damage some diaphragms. So just kind of a recap, pros and cons list. Very small, lightweight, super portable, built-in compressor, which is helpful, and it was very, very efficient at finding the leak on the beamer. So that was a good test for it. The downside, obviously, same thing related to this pressure. There is no way to adjust the pressure at all. So you're basically at the 10 PSI max that's going to put out. There's no way to change that. So too much pressure for evap system, so be cautious there. And then it doesn't come with the oil. Not a big deal. Like I said, $5, but it's just something else that you have to anticipate. If you buy that smoke machine, you're going to have to go to the drugstore and buy some mineral oil to get this thing fired up on that day. All right? All right, so final thoughts. I think Ancel makes a good product. We recently did a battery test video where we featured one of their products, the BA301. So if you haven't seen that, check that out here. You get a lot of accessories with this. You have a good 8-foot hose. You get some block caps. You get the evap tool. You get the little, what do you call this thing? Little pumper-upper deal. So this is good for an exhaust pipe, so that'll be cool. You get your plugs. At 149, it's it's kind of like right in the mid-range. So there's some cheaper units out there. There's more expensive ones. So it really depends on your application and what you're looking for. But all in all, it does what it needs to do. It functions, puts out a good amount of smoke. I am a little concerned about the 10 PSI and the unadjustability of the unit for evap system, so I would definitely use caution there. But all in all, solid unit, and I think it'll be a great addition to the garage. Shout out to the guys over at Ancel for sending us this unit and letting us review it. If you guys have any questions or comments about the machine, if you've used it, you have one, feel free to share with us below. Also, if you have any other products that you'd like us to check out, review, we like adding these videos to the channel, so leave that in the comments below or hit us up over on our Instagram page. Thanks again for hanging out, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.